Hello everyone, and thank you so much for giving this little video some attention. My name is Jordan. I work for Realvnc, and today we're going to be discussing something pretty exciting, something a little bit close to my heart. It's a new product from Realvnc called RPort. Today's demonstration is going to be a little bit different. Now, we could sit here, burn your ear off, and just show you the product, but we want to make sure we're driving some real value to the people that are sitting down, taking the time out of their day to actually watch this video. In order to do that, I think it'd be really important to go through what's happening at Realvnc, why the changes, and what's so exciting about RPort. But before we even dive into that, give you a little bit of an understanding of where we were and ultimately where we want to be in the future. And that kind of ties quite nicely into what RPort is as well. So I guess before we get started, I think it might be worthwhile discussing, where Realvnc was. So for most of the people on this call, I know there's probably a couple of people that are sat here, some IT managers that probably use, Realvnc in its early days, its early offering in the early 2000s. Quite a significant amount has changed since then, since, getting born out of those labs in Cambridge. Realvnc went from Windows and Macs and Linux servers in 2004 to instant support in 2017. And at the forefront of all of this innovation, Realvnc has always had one thing in mind, and that's the customer experience. We want to make sure that the customers that are using Realvnc have got the best possible experience. And in order to do that, the software, the updates, the things that we do on the back end have to fit the customer's needs. And this is where RPort steps in. Now, we know from a customer perspective that remote access, being very transparent, is quite a saturated market. A lot of products, a lot of tools do very, very similar things. And a lot of these products and tools do one thing in particular, to be honest with you, not very well, and that's handle multiple devices. And this is where RPort comes in. This is the next step in terms of Realvnc's legacy, a massive game changer in this market that allows you to remotely access devices. It's designed to manage a large amount of devices, automate tasks, and really provide you, the user, with an experience that is unmatched in this space. We say unmatched in this space, what we mean is RPort is a beast that perfectly complements Realvnc. It allows you to make sure your devices are running perfectly. In short, and this is me just kind of throwing it out there as a little bit of a fanboy, it makes RPort and Realvnc look like we were made for each other. They line up systematically to a tier. Now, today's conversation, today's video is going to be about showing you what actually RPort does, giving you some insight into what's changed and giving you insight into what's coming in the future. And in order to do that, I'd like to pass this conversation on to my colleague Brad. Brad, alongside myself, I lead Realvnc's go-to-market sales strategy here at Realvnc for RPort. But Brad, alongside my side, is a bit of a technical heavyweight. Pass it on to Brad. Brad, can you tell the people that are watching the video a little bit about yourself and a little bit about RPort, please?
Hi, I'm Brad Walton. I'm a technical pre-sales engineer here at Realvnc. By the way, if you don't know, Realvnc are the pioneers of remote access. We invented VNC screen technology more than 20 years ago, which has become a role model of many other products. So what is RPort? With RPort, you can remote manage any device connected to the network. This includes Windows servers, desktops, Linux devices, and macOS devices. With the RPort client installed on these devices, you can remote the devices as if you're directly in front of them. That is not all. Each RPort client can act as a bridge to access these devices where the agent can't be installed, such as routers, printers, and switches.
Cool. I think it'd be cool to perhaps, Brad, give everyone a little bit of a demonstration of actually what RPort is. So if you could pull up your screen and show everyone, what we're working on, that'd be amazing. And guys, to everyone that's kind of sitting here watching this video, that's paid attention thus far, that's interested thus far, I think it's worth notifying everyone that, RPort, I mentioned it's a bit of a beast, but the exciting thing with RPort is that ability to get control over all your assets from a unified dashboard. You can automatically deploy to individual devices with unmatched performance as if you were sitting right in front of them. And when you do this en masse to all your devices, that's where RPort becomes that game changer. It allows you to basically efficiently manage your entire IT infrastructure at the touch of a button, with command line or via REST API. Brad, can you just talk us through a little bit, in terms of RPort, of what we're actually looking at right now?
So I've just logged into the RPort client here. We can see on the left-hand side, we've got the folder structure. This is just to organize the devices. So if I list all the devices in London, it's all devices that is currently installed in London. I can then select a device and it gives me an overview of the device. So I can see what Windows version it's running, what CPU family it is. This device has got no updates. I'll go to another device. So this is a Linux device. So I can see this Linux device is missing 106 updates and 6 security updates. So I can go on here on the more updates and get more information. And with RPort, I can also instigate a remote update. Over here, I've got monitoring.
Right.
So this provides...
I'm just going to interrupt you for a section, and that, apologies for this. But I think what's one of the cool things that I noticed there about those updates is it feels, and correct me if I'm saying this wrong, but it feels like you could save a lot of time by having the ability to see what's going on, in your day-to-day automatically. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, definitely. You can see what security updates are missing on the device and if they're critical to what function you're doing. And you can, which I'll show later on, you can run scripts on the device to automatically update it and also do it once a month as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Moving on, so we've got monitoring. So we've got general information here, last 2 hours. We can see the CPUs. This device is not doing much at the moment. We can see the memory usage. We also can see the services running on the device, and we can do this with Windows as well. So if I click on a Windows device, I can also do monitoring here.
Okay. So Windows is cool, but can we? You mentioned IoT before and embedded as well. What does that look like in terms of that management?
So with IoT devices, if they're Linux or Windows or Mac OS, we can install that. It's a very small footprint. The RPort agent, it's 10 meg. So, for example, any embedded devices, like, for example, IP cameras can be remoted from this system. Okay. If it's another device that's not Windows or Linux, which I'll show later, we can remote manage them as well.
Cool. Thank you. So what are we looking at here right now, Brad?
All right. So next, I will show, after the dashboard, I'll show about controlling a device. So if I go on here, go to tunnels.
Right.
So we can click here, add tunnel, and with the device, so if this is a Windows device, it chooses the most popular remote session. So in this case, it's RDP. I can then select add tunnel here.
Okay, cool. And in terms of adding those tunnels, how easy is that for the users to actually do?
It's just a simple mouse click. I will show you just simple mouse click, and then we press connect, and we're in. We can also do it by the browser as well.
Can you explain to everyone on this call what a tunnel actually is? I think a lot of people might just get this confused with just standardized remote access. What do they actually do when we're remoting into some of these devices via RPort? What does tunneling actually look like?
So with this case, this machine is on a closed network. So port 3389 is not open. So what we're doing is we're tunneling in via the RPort agent into it. So this is behind a network address translation network, and there's no direct connection. We're just tunneling straight in. We can do it with any service, whether it be HTTP, HTTPS, etc.
Okay. And are you installing this on-prem? Is this like a cloud solution? What does that look like?
We can install it either on-prem or on the cloud. So, for example, in AWS, it's not a SaaS solution, but it's very easy to install, and I'll cover it more in depth towards the end of the call.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yep. So additionally, with tunneling, we can tunnel with Realvnc here. Realvnc. So this device that I'm going to tunnel into is in a closed network. There's no cloud option, which I'll show once I tunnel into the device. So I'll click on here and click tunnel into the device, add tunnel, start the option. This will bring up the pop-up for remote control. I'll now remote control into the device.
Cool. Nice. And what's really cool is Realvnc, the product that we have in terms of just Realvnc Connect, is a fantastic product. It feels like you're right in front of that computer. The product itself, we've kind of been just described as, like I said, it feels like you're right in front of that computer, as if you were sat right there clicking on it. It's very intuitive and it's very responsive. Can you expect with RPort to have that same functionality, that same feeling as if you're using Realvnc in its day to day? And can you with RPort as well, Brian? Can you still have that core functionality as well? Can you record demos when you're on there? Record your screen. When you're on there. Can you audit it as well? So actually understand who's been getting access to that device as well. Can you use Realvnc as its core product through RPort?
Yes, you can. You can do full screen recording. You can do the chats enabled. You can do file transfers. It's exactly the same functionality as normal VNC viewer.
Okay, awesome. And what makes this tunneling so special as well? What makes it different?
So in this case, the server I've just viewed into, I'm viewing at the moment. Let me just show up the options here. So this is in this one, we've got the cloud option disabled. So this device does not listen to any cloud connections. It's in a closed network. So with the tunneling, I'm tunneling in without needing to open any ports on the firewall. And I can just go straight into the device and remote control it, as long as the agent's installed.
So, those ports are not being opened behind NAT?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'll move on to scripts now. If there's no other questions on tunneling.
No questions from myself just yet. But I think what I'm seeing from all of this is that it feels like RPort is a really cool way to manage your IT infrastructure in one fell swoop. That's what I'm kind of getting from this. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. Yep. You can manage all your devices from this one pane of glass.
Cool.
Next, we'll move on to scripts. So I'll quickly go over this. So I'll load some scripts up. So for example, I can do wake on LAN with the scripts. So this is using the etherwake command. So I can, for example, with this environment, a lot of the time these servers are off. So I've got this Raspberry Pi that's on all the time. So if I do the etherwake command, it'll wake up these machines remotely if I need to.
Right.
I can also run Python scripts. So I can execute a script here that will run Python remotely. Also, if I want, I can install Notepad++. I can run PowerShell scripts as well. So if I quickly click on a Windows device.
So in essence, what you're saying, and I'm just trying to get my head around this, is depending on the systems that you have in place, be it Windows, Linux, we can deploy those specific scripts to those devices.
Yes.
Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
So it's just as like you're in front of the device, you can just execute any script remotely. So you've got full control over the device, which a lot of our customers use this to install software or do updates. And as you can see here, if I move to the scheduling tasks, which is part of the scripts, we can go to this device here. This is a fairly basic script. I'll just edit that. So this script is checking for updates. So it's doing a simple update command, and it does it every month. So once a month.
Wait a second. So you're saying you can actually choose exactly when you want this to be scheduled as well?
Yes.
Okay. So just for everyone on this call, I think that's actually, again, a really cool point with RPort, is this product really is built to try and save you as much time as possible. Running updates on bulk when you have thousands and thousands of devices to manage is a massive pain. I was actually speaking to a client the other day, and he had to go and do that for, I believe it was like 300 Windows devices. That is incredibly frustrating. I think having the ability to do this automatically takes a lot of time and effort off you, but ultimately I think as a business will probably end up saving you a lot of money as well.
Yes, definitely. And we can do this updates. This example I've shown a Linux device, but we can obviously do it via PowerShell on Windows as well.
Now, I've heard rumors, Brad, while you're on this, that there is in RPort there is going to be an ability to almost detect when things are not where they should be. So, for example, if a device was, let's say, needed an update, for example, automatically detect that as well. Am I correct in saying that, that's a feature that's coming or it's on the way?
Yes,
And what does that look like?
yeah, that feature's coming in the roadmap. So I use the functions here. I'll just find a device that's got an update status. So, for example, this one here, it would detect that it's missing 106 updates, and it would automatically run a script if you allow it to run the updates, or set an alert up. Set an alert.
That's basically saving you more time then, basically. Cool.
On top of that, with regarding scripts, we can do it in the example I showed you. We did updates to one device, but if I want to do all devices at once, so for example, if I wanted to run a PowerShell script on all these devices here, I can just select the Windows devices and execute, and we can see that it's starting to update, run that PowerShell script on all devices.
Is there a limit to the amount of devices that you can have on here? Running the sorry, is there a limit to the amount of devices you can have on here in terms of the scripting?
No, there's no limit. It's more the actual hardware. So in the system requirements, you need 1 CPU and 2 gig of RAM for the first 200 devices.
Right.
So that's very low cost for a cloud instance. It must be less than £10 a month for the first 200 devices.
Okay, cool. So if you're backed by the power, then you can buy the options are basically limitless, basically.
And we can see there's the results of the scripts there on all the Windows devices.
Okay.
Last thing, I'll just quickly go over the system requirements. So the guide here to install it, I'll just switch over to it. So here's the guide to install it. So it gives you memory, how much memory and how to calculate it. So it's 430K per client that you need, additional per client you're installing. So if you've got 2 gig of RAM, you'll have a lot of devices you can install. It gives you the CPU and disks and how to install it on premise or on cloud.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I think this has been really helpful, Brad. I think I think a few points. Sounds like I'm saying I think a lot, but I have been thinking throughout this entire demonstration about some really exciting things. And one of the biggest things that I think is going to be a game changer is the ability to just automate everything. So the ability to sit there, understand what's going wrong from a deep level with regards to your IT infrastructure, and then deploy accordingly to those devices en masse. When you pair this with Realvnc's remote access solution, you put those two hand in hand. They really do complement each other. They're taking a walk in the park. They're sat down, they're having a picnic, and they're opening some champagne. But the really cool thing with all of this is the fact that as a user, you're saving yourself time and you're saving yourself money as well. And I think that's ultimately going to be a real game changer for the IT guys that we have, that are looking at this video right now, and taking a little bit of it home. But is there anything left, Brad, that you have to offer there, or is that basically everything?
That's a quick overview. I could go into a lot more depth, but we'll do videos later going in much more depth about the other features.
Cool. Well, in that case, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's been on this call, that's taken the time. That's been watching this video, that's taken the time out of their day to have a look at what Realvnc is doing differently. Like I said in the beginning, it's been a bit of a journey for Realvnc to get to this stage. But there's so much more exciting stuff that we have on the line to come forward with you guys, and we just can't wait to show you all of that. Brad, you've been fantastic. I really appreciate you showing everyone how it works. And again, thank you everyone for taking that time of your day to have a look at this. Hopefully it's relevant, hopefully it's interesting, hopefully it's exciting, and hopefully, if you take the time to try RPort out, you can see exactly how much time it saves you in your day-to-day. If you need anything from the team at Realvnc, if you have questions, perhaps you maybe just want to kind of just touch base and say hello and thank me for burning your ear off with that demo, then please do feel free to reach out to us. We'll drop our details in this moving forward as well. So if you do need to just touch base, ping over a couple of questions and Brad and myself will be sure to get back to you. But yeah, thanks everyone for jumping in and having a look at this. Hopefully you enjoyed your time here. Have a great day. Take care. And yeah, see you hopefully soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.